Che, last season, you acquired a new enemy as far as football rivalry is concerned. Orlando Pirates fans are looking forward to every single game they're going to play with you moving forward, because what happened away from home for you in Orlando at the Amstel Arena, they can't forget. They thought this is where we're winning the league at home, and it wasn't to be. So the resilience of Durban City kept you away, and what a match that is. And the fans are still talking about how you created a new enemy in Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, look, I don't think it was a fight or a issue that we needed to basically score. I think the players themselves came up to the challenge, and I think they did well on that day. It was an excellent performance, in keeping Pirates away from that elusive goal.
And which is why football is such a beautiful and interesting thing, because the MTN8 then rolls around, wafa wafa, and who do you get? Surely added motivation for the players.
We are always underdogs, understand. A team like Durban City and previously Maritzburg will always be underdogs. And we had a fair share over the period of football that I was in. Isolatedly, we had victories against Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, Obviously, it was not as consistent as what we would have thought, but I think it's the players that rise up to the occasion, especially against the big teams.
Che, in the years that you've been around, since the Maritzburg years up until now, there's just, from a fan's point of view where I sit, there's something about the league right now. There's an excitement about the league. There's an acceleration of just joy and talent. What are your thoughts on where the league is right now?
Look, I think it's at a very important stage where I think a lot of clubs are introducing young players. I think fans don't want to see players consistently coming, and staying in the game at 35 or 36. And we, like with us also, we can only basically identify two players in that age category. And the fact that most clubs even Pirates, bringing in young players, I think it's a complete revolution of football. That fans basically will start marketing these new players. They become household names in 2 or 3 years, and that's what you're going to see.
Exciting indeed. You got Sundowns, the Champions League champions. You got Orlando Pirates, the treble champions. This season, not much has changed as far as those two teams are concerned with their arsenal of players. Do you think they can be challenged this season?
Look, they are strong. Give them full credit. The reality is that there will be some bouncers that they have. They won't. I don't think that it's always possible to sustain those kind of results. But as I said to you earlier, the teams, below the big two, players always look forward to those games that way they rise to the above expectation.
I mean, I hear there's 2 strikers that are available, if the media is to be believed, Che. I hear there's a guy called Mabasa, Tshegofatsho, I don't know if you've heard of him. There's another one called Shalulile, I don't know if you've heard of them. I hear they're available, Che, in the striking department.
I made the inquiries, I've been told from the agents concerned that their first preference is to go into Africa. And, they will address it thereafter. So I don't want to put the pressure on them, but I would love to have either one of them,
It's Gaston Sirino and Tashik Morris in particular, forwards. And when you look at last season, your goal ratio to the goals conceded, but the goals scored, not so high, not where you would have wanted it to be. Is that the reasoning there? Are you trying to bolster up moving forward somewhat?
Yeah, we need to score more goals. Look, I know that last season, if we had 2 or 3 players additional in the squad, it would have helped us to elevate the position from 8 to probably 6. But I think the challenge that we had towards the latter part of the season is that we had a fair amount of injuries. and that hit us badly, especially with our wingers, Maseko and Magualiana. At one stage, after the cup final, they were both out. And then we had Trevor Mokwena that was not available. So those setbacks we had, and we needed to basically get the attacking zone right, that we can score goals. And, instead of those draws that we had, quite a few, we need to turn those draws into wins.
It's playing it back to this morning. Dr. Patrice Motsepe, the president of the Confederation of African Football, had a press conference. Many things were said at that press conference. One of them was the fact that he's not going to be running for a third term at CAF, which, I was like, and I understand. I think he's done more than enough, and I think he's still going to do so much. I wonder what the next big thing is, though. He wouldn't take political questions, and we're not a political show, so that's out the question. But of course, there's the big question mark with many saying perhaps the president of FIFA. That's what a lot of people are saying as well. I doubt it, but that was something that was within the conversation there as well. The teams that went to the World Cup, the African teams, the 10 of them, did a review of his thoughts on them. I think people sometimes forget, because he's a businessman, how ingrained he is in football, how knowledgeable he is about the game as well, how he follows the game and how he studies the game. And he had a review on the World Cup. He was asked some difficult questions as well on the refereeing. And that's a nice thing about having a president that accounts. Dr. Patrice Motsepe will sit there and will open questions to everybody to ask. And the journals did exactly that. Here's a little bit of what you could have missed in what was being said today in that press conference held by CAF, including the big one. WAFCON starts very soon. SABC Sport, by the way, we are the official broadcaster of the WAFCON 2026. And within that, there's been an increase of funds. It is now $2 million. Just over 32 million rands is the prize money for that. Incredible, I think. Absolutely incredible. Let's have a listen to Dr. Motsepe, the president of the Confederation of African Football.
We have increased the prize money of the WAFCON by 900%. It's unbelievable. 900 for the women. And that's why I say to you can make all sorts of promises and say all of these nice things. If you don't back them up with quantifiable, visible, and as they would say, touchable. They want to really feel it, want to touch it. So we've increased the prize money by 900%. Last year, when I became president, the winner of the women's competition got 200,000. And then we got it to 1 million. Now they get 2 million. So you win. We've increased the prize money for the winner by 100%. We've increased the overall, the money that so the winner gets 2 million, which has been increased enormously. But we've also increased by 495%.
Yeah, if you look at when Dr. Patrice Motsepe arrived, right, when he arrived at CAF, I implore you to go and do this. Go take a look at the first tenure when he arrived at CAF. How much was it for women in the WAFCON winners? For the men in the AFCON? Go take a look at what the prize money was like. I implore you to go and do that. And take a look at it now on both ends. Go take a look at it now. And then the Champions League as well. Don't just stop there. Go to the Champions League. Go look at what the prize money was then versus what it is now. Go look at the rights. Go look at the sponsorship. He's a man that's clearly grown African football. And African football has been better off with having Dr. Patrice Motsepe there. And it's been met with, to me, he said it at that press conference. He's not going to run for a third term. Says this is it. He knows when to leave the stage. Yeah, I mean, there we go. It's done as far as that's concerned, but we've still got a couple of good years in there. Still got another AFCON coming up. Coach Hugo Bruce is to continue as Bafana coach for another year. Is what's been going on with the big question mark as far as that is concerned as well. I mean, Safa's been left and right just saying, no, this is not true. No, this is true. No, this is what's happening. It's been crazy as far as that is concerned. But let's take a break. When we come back, we'll sit in the executive box and we do have the chairman of a team that won a trophy last season join us for a conversation.